Let's go.
Well, let's begin what's trending. With reactions trailing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's approval of a 50% discount for interstate road travel and train travel at zero cost for all Nigerians traveling to celebrate Christmas with their families. The Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake, disclosed the development on Wednesday. While briefing State House correspondents, he said the discount will run from December 21st to January 4th, 2024.
Nigerians willing to travel can board public transport via minibuses, luxury buses at 50% discount of current cost, and all our train services on the routes the trains currently serve at zero cost to and fro on their travels this holiday season. The President's initiative is to give succor to the masses, and if we are to be true to ourselves, the masses don't take air travel. They go by land. In fact, this is amongst us. If you had not eaten once or twice, not to talk of thrice a day, you can't think of going to buy air tickets. So it is only the real masses, the poor, that patronize land transportation, especially rail, because it's the cheapest. We had taken care of all the contentious issues before we decided to now come and publicize. So there is going to be a seamless execution.
All right, Dele Alake here is saying that there is going to be a seamless execution, but of course there are reactions. The Nigeria Labour Congress has dismissed the federal government's pronouncement of bus fare reduction, doubting its implementability. The National Union of Road Transport Workers, through its acting national secretary, Sulaiman Musa, has also said that the union is skeptical about the mode of the policy implementation. He questioned if the government will be sending their representatives to loading points in order to implement the policy. But you know, Bayo Ononuga, I believe that you have seen his tweet. He wrote yesterday, talked about the participating companies in the federal government's plan to reduce the transport burden of traveling 5 million Nigerians. So there's a figure there, 5 million Nigerians. 1, GIG, God is good. 2, Chisco Transport. 3, Young Shall Grow. 4, God Bless Ezenwata. 5, Area Moto. The available routes are there as well on Bayo Ononuga's tweet. I'll have that later on, but let me just take more reactions. This is from Brother Bath, who wrote, "Dear Nigeria federal government, how do you wake up on December 20th and announce that you'll be giving 50% discount to all interstate travelers in Nigeria during the Yuletide? What plans do you have in place to do this? 1, do you have data on the estimated number of travelers? 2, what is your budget for this? 3, where do you get money to fund this? 4, how do you ensure the targeted beneficiaries actually get this discount? 5, how do you pay private transporters? 6, do you station federal government officials at all transporters' loading parks to offset these bills as people board, or you plan to pay them later with evidence of number of passengers transported? 7, with many illegal immigrants, which I think is very important in Nigeria, how do you identify Nigerians, bearing in mind that there are Nigerians without recognized ID cards, driver's license, voters cards, NIN, international passport, etc.? 8, have you informed Nigerians on how they can access this discount, or would they be at the mercy of the transporters and transport unions when they get to parks to board? 9, how do you intend to audit this exercise? 10, I personally think that this is a very poor initiative and will most likely be poorly implemented. It may end up being a door to corruption, stealing of money by the implementers. 11, if government thought about this earlier, there would have been better ways to achieve this, including the use of faith-based organizations, community-based organizations, etc., that have been giving similar support to Nigerians year after year. 12, I think the government should cancel this initiative and invest the money in other areas that will benefit Nigerians? Well, Brother Bath, the policy has been implemented. It is going full on. I mean, I think that he will be my Twitter analyst, because it feels like he's our Twitter analyst at this point. But he has a lot of points there which he made about even identification and even, you know, even reiterating the NURT, saying that how are you going to implement the process? But I also think that the train process, which is free of charge, should also be questioned, because Bayo Onanuga has said 5 million Nigerians. How do they get that data? Where is that money coming from? Where is the audit for this? Are Nigerians going to see that process? It's a great, great Christmas gift, no doubt. I mean, a lot of Nigerians would love to go via train transport for free, but we also need to know, when did they think about this? And where is that money going to come from? Is that part of the palliative process that they had been talking about before?
I mean, many endless questions.
Yeah.
But, and I like some of the questions raised. Like other things, if we don't effectively plan, you don't get it all. So like I said before, it's not a new idea. Ralph Aregbesola pretty much started it in 2011. As regards the train run, I know. This 50% off a bus, it's a good question he asks. How much is the total cost? What is it going to be the cost to us? You remember how we still had to mill around for the cost of evacuation of people from Sudan? How much is the total cost? What I would have thought that they should have also done is this. Before you started this scheme, set up a portal, a website, where people can register for being part of the 5 million people. You can track their data. When you track their data, get them a code that they take to either the bus station or, you know, other parts to be able to utilize the service. So at least we can have a back end of people that use the service. Yes, some of the bus companies, I saw something from God is Good Muscle this morning showing somebody that participated in the free bus. I've also seen people that participated in the 50% off bus. But secondly, the logistics, you know, behind it is another thing.
By the way, the train, you have to register online.
You
can't go to the train station to get the ticket.
So
you have to register
I like the registration online, but how about the buses too? We need to be able to track all of this, you know, and track the data set. And I'd like to also ask the government, is this not where the so-called CNG buses they bought should have been used? I would have loved that the CNG buses they were touting,
I love that,
will be used to carry these people from point to point.
Excellent point.
So the government said they're investing in buses.
Yes.
So why don't you just turn the CNG?
Point.
And also, why do you make it just 5 lines? Specific, you know, bus companies. Because the truth is, you are favoring some, you're not favoring some. So take, for instance, on the Lagos-Benin route, there are other pre-existing lines. The likes also, if you say a certain line, what about the likes of the Medegbe, Ohamban, a couple of other lines like that?
Very popular on this route, yeah.
And they're very popular on this route.
Well, if we can pull up the route, there are about 28 road transport routes.
And some other parts of the country, like in the north and all of that. So why don't you make it this way? But I would have thought that this is the time that we see the CNG buses. And I would have also thought that if they had okay said in public, except if they're going to increase the number of bus companies and all of that. And how many bus, what is it called, go to these parks? How many transporters? There are some transporters that if you go to this park, their money is already expensive in the first place, that they like to go to an open park, you know, the Ewole Sedan, Ejoko Sedan Park, you know, to still get to their destination. Not everyone uses these registered transport companies. So there are many factors that are going to play out in all of this. It's the thinking, and also ample promotion. Could it have been promoted a lot better prior to this time?
How would they know?
Us that this was coming and all of that. So there are many questions, but we'd like to know the cost. And I think we can just start by pretty much writing FOI, triggering FOI to know how much this scheme for 5 million Nigerians and bus fares and everything, what cost is it going to bring Because we know Nigeria.
So I want to just find out if the 5 million is just for the buses or is also for the train as well. Because I pulled up that route. There are about 28 of them, Lagos, Abuja, and all of that. And then for the train, this day is reporting that it favors the Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Kaduna, Warri, Itakpe rail corridors. Yeah. So that will help out. I mean, the poorest of the poor, they use the train. So hopefully, but we just need to know the data and how much money is going into this whole process.
Yeah, absolutely. So can I just say something? Yeah, so it actually starts today. And so that question around sensitization is very important.
Yes.
Because it was announced yesterday and it's effective from today. And it might have helped a lot of people plan to travel or plan their travel if they knew the government was coming out with an initiative like that. Even though the president had released a statement following the meeting with the Proprietors Association of Nigeria, Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, saying that they were going to intervene, which is in tandem with what Mr. Dele Alake said, that this had been in the works and they dotted their I's and crossed their T's. However, an investigation by the Punch newspaper states that some of the road transport operators in areas like Owerri said they were not yet aware, they hadn't been informed. So actually, there's still some areas that hadn't been fine-tuned. And then the questions that had been asked in terms of tracking, in other parts of the world, I had mentioned this off air earlier, that, for instance, in the UK, older people get subsidized or free transportation, younger people, students do. But this is through a process, and that goes to answer the question by Brother Bath as to how do you ascertain that the people who are benefiting are Nigerians if you don't have data of the people who are accessing this? We don't want to spend government money, Nigerian money, to serve others. I mean, it's good, we want to be charitable, but the truth is that we must, when it comes to planning, and this is the importance of planning. I don't want to put a blight on a good initiative or a good suggestion, but I also want to raise the concerns of the TUC as postulated by the Deputy National Chairman, saying that the government seems not to be responding to the core needs of Nigerians, saying that there are poor people in Nigeria. If they get free transportation to travel, what would they eat? You haven't addressed the issue of poverty from the moment this government came into power, and it is what they've been pushing, not just knee-jerk reactions, in quotes, to certain specific issues, but to empower the people, to take people out of poverty, to help people have a better Christmas. If you address transportation concerns, well, how about food inflation? How much money people are spending on food? Can they afford to eat? Which Mr. Alake himself alluded to, about people eating once or twice a day. So, I mean, those are key concerns from people. But I hope people enjoy this 50% off and enjoy a good Christmas on behalf of this government.
Absolutely.
Maybe they should also give 50% off on chicken, on rice, or the other little.
Well, the state governments can do more. Before we move on to our next story, let's highlight Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara, who on Tuesday approved the sum of 100,000 naira for each civil servant in the state ahead of the Christmas celebrations. The bonus will go to thousands of workers in the different ministries, departments, and agencies. Well, according to the State Commissioner for Information and Communication, it will be the first time in a long while that civil servants in the state will be receiving Christmas bonuses, let alone to the tune of 100,000 naira, which is more than 3 times the value of the nation's minimum wage. I mean, this is kudos to the governor, who has been in the limelight for over a week. I mean, this is one good thing he's done for the people of his state. Kudos to him. Well, more on